Hey everyone, this is Steve again, back in the shop. I just want to make an updated video on the M that I'm redoing here. I'm not actually redoing it so much as just kind of going through it, fixing leaks. This is a tractor that I'm putting under the Trojan road grader, road patrol that I've got out there on the lot. This is a 46 model M. I went on and bought it. It's kind of rough around the edges, but it had live hydraulics on it when I got it. It had a few other pluses. I've got a power steering system that I'll be adding on here shortly. But I split this tractor. I've got a homemade splitting stand that I made several years ago that I put on it. Somebody asked me once, why have I got these adjustable jack stands, trailer jacks on either side of it? Why didn't I just make it solid? Well, the answer to that is I can adjust it to several different tractors. This particular one's an M. I've had it on an H. I've had it on 560s, 706s. I mean, it'll go up and down. Plus, if you ever have mismatched tires, or if you have a tire go down while it's hooked up, go down on you, it leans the tractor sideways. It's nice to be able to adjust it back up or, up or down, whichever you need. So it just makes it more versatile. Like I said, I've had this thing for several years and it's worked out great. I pulled you have to pull the pump, the old belly pump out. Now, as a note, I wanted to show you this. This particular belly pump wasn't being used as a belly pump anymore. It was just being used as an oil reservoir. You see there's a plug in the front there. That's where or actually in the rear, as it were. That's where the old drive line used to go through. That's been plugged off. The guts were taken out of it. And it's just, this is a big can here, so to speak. It's just used as an oil reservoir. Again, on the earlier video, I had all this torn down. I had to replace the housing here. This housing was broken in several different places. It was broken out where the bolts go through the sides. I used the same ring and pinion, but I changed the housing. I changed a couple of the bearings in here. I put used bearings back in there. They were used, but they were a lot better than what I took out. So the same thing with the outer axle bearings. Of course, I put new seals in these while I had it apart. I did a short video on how to take these apart, or actually how to take these off, how to take the axles out. I got all this put back together. I'm going to be replacing this gear, and also, as you can see, this bearing is toast. When I took it apart, the rollers fell out. And if you ever do this, don't forget to get the rollers out of the bottom of the can and count them. Be sure your numbers match so you don't have one floating around in there. That'll ruin your day. But the fourth gear here, I don't know if I can visualize this real well. You can see the transmission has some water in it. There's a lot of wear. The edges are ground off. Whoever had this tractor before, they liked fourth gear really well. There's a lot of wear in the gear itself. I'm going to go ahead and try to replace this. Let's come around here. You see this big cavern in here. I've got to take the bottom off yet for the counter shaft. The counter shaft right there, that actually just screws in and out. That's what drives the belly pump on a regular M. There's a solid metal coupling. Looks like a cross kind of a deal in there. That's what drives your belly pump. And obviously I took the clutch and pressure plate out. It's worn, but it's not worn out. I'm going to put it right back in there. But I am going to take this off and check the rear main seal that's in behind all this. This tractor came out of cotton country, and I'm finding cotton everywhere in this thing. This pilot bearing right here is history. They're easy to take out. Once you pull the flywheel off, you can knock them out pretty easy. No big deal. I wanted to show you too the gears that I took out. These is the release gear or release bearing, Charlotte bearing, some people call it. This thing here is history. It's worn out to the point where it rattles and clatters, and I'm gonna have to replace that. I had another one of these bearings. I actually had it hidden away, but it's actually not as good a condition as I thought it was going to be. That particular tractor, if I can visualize this, it had a combination. This race went inside here, and then of course the bearing went inside the race. I have taken these apart where there was nothing in here but the bearing. It's a larger bearing than these. Personally, I like them better. They're more robust than these are. Matter of preference, I guess, whatever's available. But I'm going to have to replace this simply because you got a bearing. This bearing sets right here on this shoulder. You got another bearing that sits on this shoulder. Well, these shoulders are worn out to the point where the bearings just spin around on them. The inner races spin on the shaft without actually turning the bearing. Now, these are replacement bearings I had. They're used, but they're good bearings. The other ones I chunked because they were worn completely out. The drive coupling, I had some other bolts. These bolts are notorious for wearing out. It's a kind of a special bolt. They come down to I'll show you. Pardon the mess here. You can see these. If you'll notice, those are worn. Some of these are worse than others. This one here is worn really, really bad. You can actually, if you can't find replacements, weld these jokers up. I don't know how if the heat would take the temper out of the steel or what, but have to case, you do what you got to do, I suppose. You can see how they're worn down. That actually adds up because you have 4 of these, 2 in one direction, 2 in another direction. That slack, that slop will actually, let me come back over here, I'll show you. You've got these holes right here. I have seen these couplings right here where that hole look like a dadgum egg. Fortunately, these aren't that way. This had a lot of slop in it when I took it out. I've since replaced these bolts with some better ones I had. The rubber bushings, these have gotten kind of hard, but they're still usable, I guess. The rubber bushings are the ones I took off were completely flat, and in some cases they were broke, and this junk just disintegrated and fell out of it. So much for a bushing. This is the collar. It's aluminum. I have had to replace these over the years, but your throw-out bearing or your release bearing will actually slide up and down on this. If you don't keep this greased, it'll hang up on you and give you a hard time. Again, release bearing actually rides there. And this one didn't have a whole lot of resistance in it, just enough to hold it. If I've got any more replacement parts, I may well get rid of that too. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But anyway, just an update. Hopefully you might learn a little something from all this nonsense here. If you got any questions, just put them in the comments. Thanks for watching.